Whoa, I just got out here, but I'm noticing that sun's really bright. Is that bothering y'all? Is it too crazy? Well, let me know. Hey, everybody. I hope that we've had a fantastic, beautiful week. I hope that y'all have had a beautiful day. I hope that the wonderful life has been absolutely doing good for you. And I'm curious to see what fragrances y'all been getting into. Of course, these are wonderful opportunities for us to share what fragrances we bought, what fragrances we've been getting into. And again, I am sorry. I Fridays I'm not as reliable as my Saturdays. I try to get on here 6 p.m. as much as I can. Sometimes I get busy. Hey, original dog man, Mancera. Yeah, you've been into that Mancera. And I do need to get. I saw that you tagged me. I do need to get on that tag video. I've been tagged a number of times, and there's a couple of trendy videos. Perhaps I should do. Perhaps I need to do. And y'all know that I just like to sit here and do my individual reviews and just chat with whoever who wants to chat with me. I guess I should be more social. Dogman, I don't know if you care about personality test. I don't know if you put any belief or care into that kind of stuff. But if you're ever curious about what kind of odd person I am, I'm an INFJ personality. A lot of so I don't fit into a lot of social norms. I don't fit into a lot of I don't think the same way as a lot of people out there. So uh, yeah, you're executive. Okay, I can see that. You could be the boss. You could be calling the shots. I could see it. Hi, Charlie. Hey, Charlie Brown. Happy to see you. It's always good to see you. He's awesome, and guys, check him out. He's a musician as well. I do wish that he gets some support. I don't know if you're selling your music, Charlie Brown. I don't know if you just do it as a hobby, but I do support you, my friend, and you're pretty darn awesome. Hey, Benjamin. Hey, 2 cents worth. How's it going? Happy to see you here. Actually, don't want to be that. I know. You take it easy and you work and you earn things the real way, the hard way, blood, sweat, and tears. I think, as you say. So yeah, I get that. What fragrances have you been getting from Mounsara? Are there any new ones? I think I've told you, but I have Oud Vanille and Amber Fever, and I quite like both of those. I've been tempted multiple times. I've added it to my cart. I've almost bought the Oud Cafe, but I think it says it has a note of peach, if I remember right. Peach, and peach can work in a fragrance. There's one from Francesca Bianchi, the Lover's Tale, which is an amazing niche fragrance. But even though it can work in a fragrance, and perhaps I could wear it, even when it's made kind of unisex or fragrance like that, I still would prefer it more on a lady. I guess I'm traditional that way. My dad doesn't like rose on a guy. He wants only ladies and jasmine and almost anything floral or almost anything sweet. I'm not that. I guess old school, some people would say, but I do find that peach and some of those notes, it's hard for me to wear. I don't know how y'all feel about that. So my supervisors want me to be a department manager. I've been turning it down. Okay. Well, you got the experience, I'm sure. Yeah, maybe you can find a role that works for you. Maybe you could manage things indirectly. Like, I don't know, maybe if you don't want to manage people, you could manage some other aspect of the business that you're working for, and maybe that would be more comfortable for you. It's funny that we're all different people in the fragrance world, and career wise and everything. We all have a different aspect, something that works for us, and a better fit that we can find. So all the Monsaras are regurgitated by other YouTubers. Yeah, I see a few people talk about that Soleil one. I've been interested to get that, but I think there's a few of them that aren't talked about too much. Are isn't there? Maybe I'm getting things mixed up with Montal. I know that there's a lot of Montal fragrances that not everybody talks about, but I think there's isn't there a blue one from Monsara? I might be getting things mixed up. Yeah, red tobacco. Everybody talks about that. Everybody hypes it up. I thought it was a fine fragrance. I thought it was good, but I like my tobacco to be a little bit more in the forefront. And to me, when I want tobacco, I kind of want it strong. And red tobacco it has good performance. Nothing's wrong with it. It's just Again, it felt a little bit smooth for me, and it didn't have ruggedness to it. And I know I offended a lot of people when I said it, but y'all know that I tell y'all I say my opinions even if they're not popular sometimes. I said red tobacco to me definitely came off as a femme fatale fragrance, even though a suave guy in red velvet could wear that fragrance. I feel that red tobacco certainly could be worn by a very confident, provocative, strong, confident kind of woman. So but nothing's wrong with that. A guy certainly can rock it and enjoy it, but for me personally, it's not my go-to. Instant Crush was fine. Did you fall in love with Instant Crush like they were expecting instantly? I'm curious to see if you love that Instant Crush. I thought it was a fine fragrance. It works. It's likable, but I don't know. It almost has that effect like Chronic does, but I'd almost prefer how the Chronic by Byron how it grabs you. I almost prefer it a little bit more. Oud Cedrup was a sand oud. I don't hear too many people talking about sand oud. Isn't there? And there's a wind wood or a wind oud as well. I smelled that one. Maybe I should give them more of a chance. But I didn't fall in love with those ones either. Cedrup Boise, yeah, everybody talks about it. It's a pretty big, easy to wear, mass appealing fragrance for sure. Back to Black. Um, Back to Back. I haven't tried that one. And whenever I see that name, I think of Killian. I don't know why. Musky Garden, Black Gold. Yeah, I don't know much about Musky Garden. I should look into it. And I've only heard few people talk about Black Gold besides from you, I think it was. My least favorite is Instant Crush. Yeah, Instant Crush is a fine fragrance, but to me it feels a little bit more youthful. And people don't like this word, but I'll use it. And I don't mean it to insult, but juvenile, where it's more playful and carefree. Instant Crush comes off that way, and I tend to be. I can have fun. I do have my laughs, but I do tend to be more of a serious person. And again, I have a lot of my mindset is like old Celtic. I guess you could summarize it. I it's kind of funny that way. That doesn't make sense to a lot of people, but look up like really old Celtic attitudes towards things, and you might get familiar, and it might make more sense. So I don't know. I think Celtic stuff was somewhat popular, so that helps people to understand me just a little bit more. My mindset just in general. So let's see here. Yeah, that's a ton of Monsaras. Yeah, Blue Oud. Yeah, that's the one. Maybe I was thinking about Blue Notes. Yeah, I don't know much about that one. I don't remember if I've smelled that one at all. Mansara has quite a good few fragrances. I think that it's a good house. I mean, you know what it's all about. I think that it's a good step in the direction of niche. I think it's a good step in that direction. Especially when you can get some of them for $80 or maybe less if you get lucky at the right times or on a sale. So I think that's a good, great way to step into, something a little bit more interesting and perhaps something with better performance. A lot of these designer fragrances, some of them do well, but a lot of them don't have a lot of oomph, a lot of power behind them, and some of Monsaras can really give it to you. So that's a good thing, I think. So, any new summer fragrance suggestions? I don't want to spoil my haul. I know that I should switch things up. I have a lot of content, and I've started a lot of ideas that people started to copycat in the fragrance community. That, as far as I know, I was the first one to ever do it. But I don't really. I should do that to build my image as a YouTuber. Like buy these fragrances now, they're being discontinued. They're getting like rare or expensive. I was the one that started that, and a number of ideas. I've been very creative, but I tend to I don't know. I get these moods where I just want to do individual reviews, and also I guess I should bring it up now. This is one of the things I wanted to bring up for y'all. Is I have about 100 videos I've already uploaded. I've already made with them. I've already made the videos made with them. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that I still mention that I'm Sin Titar, my old name, my old YouTube name, in those videos, and I have about 100 of them. So there's still going to be 100 older videos. Maybe the quality will be a little bit less. Maybe they might seem a little bit old or a little bit different because I do change things up and try to improve things with the lighting. But I know right now the lighting's absolutely terrible we got the sun coming down, on the horizon, and it's really messing up, making things look foggy. Anyways, back to summer fragrances with your question. I just wanted to get that out there that I do have an awful lot of videos, and I know those infamous rocking chair videos. I did a few of those, and some of y'all really disliked me in a rocking chair. But summer fragrances. I think that a great introduction, a great step into the niche world, especially with summer fragrances, is Acqua di Parma Colonia line. There's a few flankers. If you're scared of them, if you've heard the negatives about the bug spray one, that's the Essenza. That's the Acqua di Parma Essenza. And you can avoid that one. The other ones really don't have that note or that quality, but there is a certain energetic kind of note. There's something in the background that can remind you of bug spray. Most fragrances, I would never say that about, but there's very few fragrances that have ever done that for me. But Essenza does remind that for me. Some people might not be familiar with the smell of bug spray, or maybe you've never had to deal with that. I live in the South, so ants and roaches and those kinds of things are something you have to fight and deal with. If you don't spray your house with, bug repellent, that almost like a pesticide, once a year or something, those roaches might come into your house and come to get you. So red tobacco is mass appealing, and yes, it doesn't have the ruggedness. Yeah, I agree. For for a tobacco fragrance, red tobacco really doesn't have the ruggedness or that bold character that I personally wanted. It's much more smooth and kind of it does have good quality about it, but it's more sultry than anything. It's kind of like a suave kind of fragrance. So y'all know how I like my rugged stuff. So um, but summer fragrances, I do have quite a few videos out. I don't know if y'all seen those. I really like Swimming in Lipari by Dolce Gabbana. That it's a light blue flanker. I think it's really salty, which I like, and it's really really nice because the ambergris or the ambroxan that comes through. It has a bunch of that. Some people don't like ambroxan. For some people they don't like a big blast of that. But I think it's one of the best interpretations of an ocean salty sea breeze that I've ever come across. I don't want to spoil my reviews, but I do. You asked questions, so I do have to help you. I do. I recently bought Cool Water, the Coolest Edition, which is a 30th anniversary special edition, and it's actually not very popular. I got my bottle for $30 shipped, 6.7 ounce. It's like sitting on the shelf somewhere. Nobody seems to be buying it. Nobody seems to be talking about it. It's a fine fragrance. It almost reminds me of Pacific Rock Moss, which is not going to make any sense to some people, but it has oak moss, it has juniper and rosemary and some citrus, and I quite like it. I quite like it, and I actually didn't like Pacific Rock Moss because it didn't perform as well. It was so hyped, and I couldn't even get a sample when I wanted a sample, and I just like that. I think that the people who were hyping it got the bottles for free and didn't tell people, and then bottles were completely like you couldn't get a bottle, and you couldn't even get samples for like months. And then when I eventually got the fragrance, it was fine smelling. It smelled of decent, good quality. But again, it was one of those niche fragrances that smelled more designer, and on my skin it gave me like 4 or 5 hours of performance. So I was like, and the price, I'm just like, nah, I wasn't happy. Wasn't happy about that. What is hype? Hype only occurs when you let it. Well, you're right that hype only works is on an individual as far as they believe in the hype, and not even if 12 fragrance reviewers are hyping up a fragrance, if that person only watches one of those reviews, the hype might not affect them. But I think hype is when a bunch of people talk about a fragrance. It's like what hype is like with a word in the fragrance community we use just for any. I think normal people would use for popularity behind something. Everybody has a favorable view about someone, something, some anything, and then everybody starts talking about it, and then it trickles down. And with anything, if you have a positive mention, a positive influence with anything, like 6 or 7, 8 times, I think people have done studies, you're more likely to buy it. So then people get confident, especially the people who want the long lasting compliment getters. They start getting really confident about it, and then they just blind buy it. And I think that that's why some people like hype, and that's why some people get into hype, and some people that's their thing. They only buy hype fragrances, but y'all know that I'm an individual, and I like to explore fragrances, and I'm certainly quite picky with my fragrances, and I encourage y'all to, of course, find fragrances that you love and that you connect to. That's what my channel's all about. Find a fragrance that you actually love. Not just I don't want you to just settle or just get into a fragrance because everybody else says it's good. Yes, a lot of fragrances can work, but finding fragrances you connect with deeply and that you think personally are the best of the best for you, that's when I think that me as a fragrance reviewer has done something right. When I've introduced and mentioned something and said something in a way that somebody connected with it. That's what I try to do at least. So back to the comments. I know that I missed the comments keep going, and Dogman, you're on it. You're on a ball. So, nah, Instant Crush scent was okay, but performance sucked big time. Okay, I didn't test the fragrance thoroughly enough to. I haven't. I don't think I haven't given that fragrance a review yet with the performance. So yeah, it wasn't big and bold. A lot of people have really high expectations with Mansara. I thought Amber Fevered was decent on the performance. I love my bottle, but it's not as bold or as big as some of the other ones. So, Sand Oud smells like Paul Sebastian. Uh, I could see some similarities. Yeah, it has like a yellow, dry, a little bit more perhaps of a floral feel. I could see some of that going on. Back to Black is rugged leather amber. I need to try that Back to Black. I need to give it a go. I might just fall in love with that one. I see when I look at some of these Monsaras, I always see some kind of note that to me looks like it's out of place, like a fennel note or like some kind of note that's thrown in there. And I'm like, why is that there? And that's one reason maybe I haven't bought some of these. And it's my budget. Y'all know my budget. So, what's up, Ben and Dogman? Hey, Schism, or Schism, is that how you're supposed to say it? Hey, how you doing? Back from the deep, is that what your name's about? Whiskey, leather, amber, awesome. I'll have to look into that one. Back to Black, okay. And again, it makes me think of Killian, and I don't know why. Schism, what's up, sir? Yes, Mansara is a great bang, 4-ounce bottles. Yeah, when you can get a 4-ounce bottle of a Mansara, especially when you like the fragrance for about $80 and you get that performance out of it, I think you're getting quite a good fragrances, and they smell great. People do like them. A lot of them, at least on the skin. Yes, a lot of them are sweet. Some people don't like sweet stuff, but I can deal with some sweetness. It depends on my mood, but yeah, sweet stuff. Hey, brother, can you please turn the phone horizontal? I believe you did it on your previous live. Do you want it sideways? Do you want it that way? Um, I don't know. Does it look funny? I can do it that way, but I can't see the comments very well, and then I'll be touching the screen a little bit more funny. And somebody was telling me that I was really annoying them. Um, it does, and let's see here. Can y'all still see me? Uh, YouTube doesn't like it. I don't think they like it when I do this. So let me see if I can keep up with I have to read the comments sideways. This is one reason I don't like doing this. But you're going to see my head skewed this way if you really want it this way. Ben, if you like ruggedness, you should try Back to Black. Come on, Sarah. I'll try it. I'll give it a go. I'll look at the notes. I probably will really like it. I really like Monsaras. If I had a lady around, they have some good vanillas. I smell like some of that Mansara vanilla. Pretty good stuff. Dogman, the Mansara Slayer. Yeah, and Centrifugal Force as well. Centrifugal Force is up on that Mansara legit. So, Schism, yeah. Schism, check it, man. You got 2 new Mansaras today. Hype works on Sheeple. That's one way to put it, Dean. That's one way to put it. I try, y'all know I allude or I suggest things. Maybe I should be a little bit more bold and a little bit more critical, but I do. I don't try to be too rude, but maybe I should be a little bit more true to maybe what I think. Yeah, it works on people who just want to follow norms, social. I mean, fragrance norms, not even social, but yeah, that's what the hype is works on. That's the people. And then it's really funny when some of them buy the fragrances, they actually like, blind buy a fragrance because a bunch of reviewers said it was really good, whether it be Aqua Amara or Artisan Pure by John Varvatos or anything. And then they get mad if they don't like it. They get mad at the fragrance reviewer, or they get mad at the fragrance community. And it's like, well, you bought it. I mean, it's your responsibility. It's like, just because 90 out of 100 people find it pleasant and you don't, it's funny. It's funny. That's dope, dog man. You're on a Monsara roll. Yes, Monsaras for life. He's gonna get me on more Monsaras. I thought I had enough Monsaras in my collection. If I keep that up, I'd have more Monsaras in my collection than any other brand. I tend to really pick and really picky and pick and buy what the things I like, my fragrances that really work for me. Lots of flankers. I like to find my Goldilocks effect, like I say, the perfect fragrance out of the flankers, or whichever fragrance I like out of the bunch from a certain company. And that's what I tend to do. That's what I tend to do, guys. And it's really funny if I have even a couple fragrances from one brand. I usually don't have too many from one brand. Let's see here. Killian Back to Black. Nah, put it back, Ben. You want it back? Do y'all like it that way? It's YouTube doesn't. I don't know. I can't see the. Does it bother you? On your screen, it should. I mean, maybe you're on a laptop, but for me, it. If you're using a cell phone or even if you're on a computer, you should be able to adjust your screen to make it work and make it look decent. And if you're on a cell phone, it's automatically going to adjust for you. You should be seeing me in the window, and you should be seeing me perfectly fine. So, how's it going, Mr. Ben? Professor X is in the house. He's another guy who he doesn't mince words. He calls it like it is. And I really liked it how that he went off. He went off on Office for Men from Jeremy. And again, we don't hate Jeremy. There are critical things which we won't get into. I've mentioned a few of them in the past, but just talking about the fragrance, that's his opinion, and I really appreciate that he was willing to say his opinion. There's a lot of people who treaded really softly in regards to that fragrance because maybe of his popularity or because of who he is, and maybe they want to be on the good side of him or certain people, and and it's really funny that I think some people distance themselves away from me, and a lot of people, again, I don't really want to get into this aspect of a discussion, but we could, is like positivity. And again, if you can be a fragrance, there's all kinds of different fragrance reviewers. There's a new upcoming generation who just share fragrance hauls and just do tag videos, and not you do what you want, do what makes you happy. But I consider myself a fragrance critic. Eugene is definitely that way, and there's a few of these guys out there who will actually, if the fragrance doesn't work for them, they'll break it down. They'll tell you why it doesn't work for them, and they're willing to sit down and say if a fragrance is not a masterpiece. Not every fragrance is a masterpiece. Not every fragrance can be. But again, we all have our different views and different experiences. But I think that we can all come to a common, I don't know, a view on certain fragrances really, really being well composed. Even if we don't smell the same or maybe don't like the same notes, we can tell that something's well blended or something had a good amount of creativity behind the fragrance. So, yeah, I like that about you, Professor X. Anyways, enough of that tangent. Ritual Dogman says, Killian Back to Black. Nah, put it back, Ben. I did. Yeah, nowhere near Eric's collection. Yeah, he's got them all, and he's really got me on Perfumum Roma. I'd always wanted Perfumum Roma, and I want a brand. I can never say the full name. It's like something a Gautier, and I really want a number of their fragrances. And there's not a lot of brands out there who I want a number of their fragrances. And Wodge is one of them. I have Jubilation Man. I want Mist Man. I want Portrayal Man, and there's another one. But I think Portrayal is the more of a violet one, and then there's like a sandalwood one. I'm trying to remember the names of them. I can't remember. There's a violet one. There's a sandalwood one, and I want Mist Man, which is more of an ashy Damascus rose. I have Jubilation, and If they come out with anything that's, I don't know, do they have one? I mean, they have Journeyman that's focused on leather, but if they did a different one that was leathery, or maybe they did one that was purely on incense, but maybe more of like a different twist on incense, or if Amouage decide to do a mint fragrance, Amouage, are you listening? I'll buy it. If Amouage does a mint fragrance, oh my goodness, especially if it's a mint patchouli combo, oh my goodness, I'm in. I'm all in. Yeah, take my money. Take it. I've been breaking necks now. You're breaking. Yeah, I can do that. A lot of people say I don't know, too rugged. I am still in my 20s, but especially when I was younger, you know, if I had to, I'd sleep on the ground. I've been camping before, essentially just slept on the ground on the rocks. I don't want to do it. It's not particularly pleasant, but if I have to, like to save money, again, I've never had an awful lot of money, and I hate the idea of paying 50, 100, $150 to sleep in a bed at night, especially when some of those hotels are so cheap. You know, every time I've road tripped, unless somebody else is, you know, if I'm with friends or family or whatever, I'll just sleep in the car. People think I'm absolutely ridiculous. I mean, when you're on a trip and you're actually going somewhere and if you try to get there quickly, it's the fastest way to go. And I guess I'm a cheapskate, so yeah, break my neck. I'll do it if I have to. I'll work dog hard. Yeah, I'm guilty. Yeah. Guilty as we're all guilty. We're guilty as charged. Eugene is a true connoisseur, especially of those Guerlains. He loves those Guerlains. I love learning more about those fragrances from him. There's an awful lot of forgotten or vintage, I guess you would say, or older fragrances that don't get reviews, that people don't talk about them, and that's one reason I think the fragrance community is a good thing. If that's then that's the aspect of the fragrance community I like to focus on, is that we're all reviewing and talking about different fragrances. You know, some people might not be into Guerlains, or some people might be obsessed with a completely different brand. Somebody might be obsessed with Mansara. Who knows? And so people would dive in and maybe share and review some of those fragrances that we know little about, or there's no reviews on that fragrance on YouTube yet. So I'm happy that some people have different tastes than me, or are willing to explore. That's what I try to do. I try to explore all this weird stuff that almost nobody knows about, or obscure stuff. I reviewed Polo Crest recently. It's been discontinued for how long? Like 20 years? I don't even know. It's been gone. It's long gone. But for the heck of it, I just decided to review it and put the word out on it. And people are like, "You got a bottle of that? I haven't seen that in years." And I'm like, "Yeah." It's actually my dad's, and he blind bought it. So, and I don't even think he's gonna keep it. But it's not terribly expensive. But I personally don't think it's the best Fougere out there. But for nostalgia's sake, you know, if you are still looking for a bottle on eBay, if you get lucky, it's not terribly popular. You can still get it for a decent price. So, thoughts on Tobacco Vanille by Tom Ford. This is one of those opinions that's quite controversial to some people. You'll offend some people if you're not head over heels in love with Tobacco Vanille. If you don't say Tobacco Vanille is like one of the best niche, 10 out of 10, one of the one of the go-to fragrances, and if you even they'll say if you even remotely love Tom Ford, that you should just blind buy Tobacco Vanille. Tobacco Vanille is a fine fragrance. It has, maybe the vintage bottles have better performance. On my skin, it was more of a 5, 6. Maybe if I oversprayed 7-hour fragrance. Again, guys, I tend to underspray. Most fragrances, I'll spray 3, 4, 5. I'll do 3 or 4, maybe 5 sprays. Unless I really want to get noticed, or maybe if it's a fresher fragrance and I feel like I'm not going to choke anybody out, or if I feel I can get away with it, I might spray like 7. But you see these people out there putting 10 sprays of fragrance on. A lot of my fragrances are big and bold and have a lot of really strong. I don't want to. I don't want to risk, choking people out. And I don't know if y'all have seen, but an awful lot of ladies say it's actually better if you wore nothing. It's better if you didn't have a fragrance on. If you, instead of overspraying. So, spray responsibly. It's really hard to figure out which fragrance works for you with how many sprays in the right season and temperature. Again, some people don't care about that. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to think about it. Some people don't want to. Some people absolutely don't have a care in the world for that kind of stuff. But I like to think about all these little nitty-gritty details. Anyways, back to Tobacco Vanille. Back with the Tobacco to Vanille. I personally just didn't love it. I guess I'll just say it. I thought it's fine. It has a lot of tobacco. It smells good. I didn't think the vanilla was as big, as bold in the dry down, and I wanted it to have a little bit more rootiness. I wanted it to almost have some more woodiness. To me, the vanilla just didn't have as much character in the dry down as I wanted. Also, a big negative for Tobacco Vanille for me personally, and this is a very personal thing, but I noticed the clove, and it does have clove in the fragrance, and I thought that I was just smelling things, and y'all know how sensitive I am to clove. Clove just doesn't work. And I smelled that fragrance and I'm like, this has an intense spiciness and it just didn't go away. It had that smell and that character. And nobody had ever mentioned it in reviews. Nobody seems to ever talk about it. But I got the clove, and I got clove in a big way from Tobacco Vanille. And it just doesn't work for me. There's plenty of other tobacco vanilla fragrances out there that I can enjoy, that I like. It's not too uncommon as a combination, tobacco and vanilla. Plenty of other fragrances. And, if it works for you, if you like Tobacco Vanille, more power to you. Let it work for you. Enjoy. Have fun with it. But for me personally, it's just not my thing. It is fairly well composed. It's smooth. It transitions well. But I do find it one of those fragrances that has very, very few notes to it. And I have to be in the right mood, and those fragrances have to really work for me. I don't have a lot of fragrances, in my collection at least, that have very, very few notes. Gucci Guilty Absolute is a very polarizing fragrance, but it works for me. Very, very few notes. I recently got Givenchy Pie Extreme. It feels like it has very few notes. I don't think it has very many as well. And that one works for me as well. So, anyways, back to the comments. I think I focused too much on Tobacco Vanille. I forget if I've done a full-length review on that fragrance or not. I don't remember, but I might not have because I didn't want to offend people. I wouldn't say it's a terrible fragrance. I wouldn't be a guy who gives it a 1 out of 10 or anything ridiculous like that. But I probably, for me personally, I don't know. I want to look beyond my personal opinion. For me personally, it's probably like a 5 out of 10, but if I was to give it an actual rating for the actual general populace, should you go out there and try it or not, or wear it, I probably would give it a 7 or maybe an 8 out of 10. It's quite a good fragrance. And again, when I personally review fragrances, and this was one thing that bugged me about public school as well. When I think of a scale of 1 to 10, to me a 5 is average. 5 is average. And you should really look at these different markers, and you should evaluate something. If something is a 7 out of 10, that's quite good. That's a pretty darn good fragrance. And, that's how I just look at things. So if something is a 5 out of 10, that doesn't mean it's below average. It actually means it's just average. And 6 is a little bit above. 7 is a pretty good fragrance. 8, it's an excellent fragrance. 9, it's like, wow, this is really amazing stuff. And 10 out of 10 is like masterpiece. Absolutely head over heels in love with it. Can't get enough of it. And back on the opposite end, 4 is like, it was pretty good, but just wasn't good. Wasn't amazing. A 3 is something like, it has some aspects that are good, but I really just really don't like it overall. And here's a couple criticisms. 2 is like, there's maybe one thing that's redeeming, but almost everything is wrong with the fragrance, and y'all know that a 1 or a 0 is just absolutely trash. So I lost some people, but I kind of want to explain that. I think I explained how things are in my mind. So some people just jumped off the live, but oh well. Let's see here. Let's see. I really don't see anything special about Tom Ford, and you're obsessed with Mansaras. Yeah. Have fun with it. That's a part of the fragrance journey. If you're obsessed with Mansaras, have some fun. Yeah, I really like Italian Cypress, and I really connect with Tuscan Leather. I don't know if I'll ever buy a bottle because I decided to buy La Yucawam by Rasasi. which really is more wearable. It's an amazing fragrance, performance, price, and value wise. Versace's La Yucawam almost is just as good. I don't know if I want to say it's better than the original, but it really stands on its feet, especially for the price. It really does a darn good job. So, yeah, I really like the Tuscan leather and the Italian cypress. I really love the Costa Azzurra, but the price is outrageous, far too expensive, and it only lasted like 3 hours on my skin. And I really want to try the Costa Azzurra Aqua, but I know it's not going to last very long, and I'm probably going to love it. But then I can't afford it, and I want it to last 4 times as long. Yeah, but I'll try it eventually. I'll get my nose on it. Let's see here. But I know what you're saying, but with anything, there's some people who have 10 Tom Ford fragrances. There's people out there who blind buy every Tom Ford release because they love that dark, seductive, almost patchouli like vibe that's in a lot of that Tom Ford fragrances, and it works. They connect with it, and more power to them if you like it. But if a private blend Tom Ford fragrance, I don't care how good it smells, and a lot of them do smell really good. But if they give me 4 or 5 hours of performance, I'm just not very happy with a niche fragrance, especially when it's a darker feeling fragrance, and I expect for that darkness to really come through. Tom Ford. I don't know some of their releases recently. You can do better. You can do better. Clove makes me want to puke too, Ben. Yeah, I can deal with a little bit of clove if it's blended right. It can add a good quality to some spicy fragrances. It can really work with vanilla really, really well. I actually really like Mahariz by El Herbolario. If you watch my channel, especially last year, I talked really, really highly about that fragrance multiple times. I find it a much improved and wearable version of well, I can't. Can I even remember what it is right now? What I always say it. I'm blanking. It's gonna kill me, guys. But it's not coming to me right now. Watch my videos, you'll know. I can picture the bottle, but I can't remember the name. Y'all help me if you know. Anyways, it has a lot of clove and vanilla and spice, and it's quite a good fragrance to some people. But the original is more animalic. But the dupe is more vanilla heavy, and I find the clove more enjoyable. But yeah, clove is just a note that I tend to struggle with, and some people struggle with different notes. Some people detect smoke or smoky, even if a fragrance doesn't smell smoky, but if it feels smoky. Some people can't deal with anything remotely like smoke. I like incense. I like actual smoke in a lot of fragrances. There's actually a fragrance out there I want to buy called Black Hashish, and it's a smoky. I'm not crazy. I don't have to have. I can't deal with an overload of it. Like Interlude Man by Amouage is a little bit too strong for me, but we're all different, and I can deal with some of that quality in a fragrance. I can deal with lots and lots of tobacco. I love it. I can deal with a good amount of oud. Okay, I wouldn't say that I go for really animalic barnyards. I can't deal with really skanky oud, but I do. I can take some oud, and some people can't take any of it. So we're all different, and that's one thing that makes the fragrance game interesting. That's one reason we have 1,001 fragrances and so many other things in the world. 1,001 cars, 1,001 shoes. We all find what we like, I guess. I gotta get Gucci Guilty Absolute. I would definitely get it if you've smelled it. I don't know if I would recommend a blind buy on it. It is one of those fragrances that it's a limited edition flanker that has a cult following, or even though a lot of people find it polarizing, and there's been some fragrance reviewers who have expressed that opinion. I am one of the people who are behind the following and the popularity behind it, and it smells like a masterpiece of a fragrance. To me, it stands up with the greats like Dior Fahrenheit, and when that thing gets discontinued, the price will skyrocket. So, and it will go up, and it feels very masculine. And if you like your masculine fragrances, guys, get your nose on that Gucci Guilty Absolute. You might like it. It's a bold monster. It's a strong one. Fragrance Anatomy, happy to see you pop in. How you doing? Happy to see you, my friend. Goku Black says, "Hey mate, how are you?" I'm doing good. It's a good weekend. I did get on here a little bit late, but hope that y'all are enjoying your weekend as well. I was trying to take it easy, and I still need to do some more of that. I need to relax this weekend. Been staying on the grind, maybe a little too much. So, Goku Black says just ordered Rasasi and Tiba, another Silver Mountain Water clone, the best DNA for summer. Yeah, that Silver Mountain Water DNA is really really good. I've been told to buy that Rasasi. No, it was like Wisum all day or something like that. I know what it looks like. Maybe I'm not. I'm probably not saying it right, but that's I've heard is a really good one. Y'all know that I have my Offnon Supremacy in Heaven, which is actually a dream come true. It takes away the black currant, it takes away the inkiness, and it adds a sandalwood base to that Silver Mountain Water DNA. And that's probably my favorite I've smelled so far of the Silver Mountain Waters. If you really like Silver Mountain Water and you have to have all of them, another one that you might want to put on your radar is one called Magia or 19. It's from the Youth Collection or the 1920 Youth Collection from Boise. I think always mix it up, but I think the brand is called Boise 1920. Anyways, go to Fragrantica and search Magia, Magai, I believe it is, and it is a little bit more light. It is a little bit more inoffensive, but it's really nice and it smells more natural and very very nice and almost like an inoffensive office appropriate Silver Mountain Water. Really, really good stuff. And if I could find the right deal on that at the right price, I probably would scoop that one up, as well. So, would you ever wear T Rex by Zoologist? No, no, I would never wear it. I think it's well composed. It's a good fragrance. But I would never wear that one unless it was a dare or something. I wouldn't wear it for my own personal enjoyment. I understand the fragrance. I respect it and I think it smells pretty good. But do I love the smell? Not for me personally. Again, it's quite a wild fragrance to me. It smells like almost like aged patchouli, more on that golden side of patchouli, which is quite nice. But then it has a lot of ruggedness, has a little bit of animalic. It has the metallic smell and the actual smell and the metallic vibe of blood. So it has both of those things that I can smell. And it has a violet. It has that gasoline vibe. It smells like it's things are burning almost. I don't know if it smells particularly smoky, but it certainly feels very smoky as well. And one of the crazy things about that fragrance is that it's nuclear. It's big, it's bold, it's very very strong, and it's a fragrance that's absolutely ridiculous in the performance category. I got a dauber. I got one of those like little 1 mil or 2 mil daubers that don't even spray. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It has that little plastic stick inside that everybody dislikes. But guys, I didn't even open that thing. I got it out of the package, and I kind of sensed something, and my intuition was working, and I just smelled I could smell it strong even through the plastic, and I was like, I'm not even gonna open this thing. I'm gonna pour some drops on my hand, and it's gonna be a mess, and yeah. So all of this is a beast. If you're out there and you're one of those people who likes really rugged, strong scents, and maybe you say that no fragrance ever gives you 10 performance, you don't have a fragrance that'll give you 24 hours. That might be one you want to try, get a sample of it. If that fragrance doesn't give you beast mode projection and possibly 24 hours of performance, I don't know what is. I don't know what is. Truffles. Sorry, little dog's acting up over there. It's a very needy dog. He's fussing. You want to come see me? You want to come see me? Get on the camera again? Come here. Come here, Truffles. Yeah, he's being needy. He wants attention. He's fussing at the window. How y'all doing? Um, I have all we saw very powerful scent. Antiba is supposed to be more wearable and cheaper. Yeah, let me know how that Antiba is. Let me know if that's any good and if it's worth buying. I might have to check it out. I might have to see what it's all about. Um, anyways, any more questions? Any more thoughts, feelings, opinions? I really appreciate everybody who's popped in, Original Dogman and Professor X. I know that we're all in different schedules, but sometimes we have people pop in, and who knows, maybe we'll have more people. And if y'all, again, I appreciate the tags. I'll get on those. And if y'all want to work with me tag wise, I do appreciate it. It is fun. I will try to stay up to date on those as much as quickly as possible as I can. And I understand the community matters, but again, I guess I'm a little bit of my lone wolf self. And I don't know. I've tried. Of course, at college, I've done group projects, and we had the small fry squad, and that kind of fell apart. Groups and things are quite a funny thing. When they don't work together, and certain people take advantage of the group, and some people like me tend to be the givers. And group projects, like I get on the ball, I try to organize things, and I'll work my heart out. And usually, there's a couple people, or maybe a lot of people, who just want to benefit from that, or maybe their ideas are completely terrible. That's happened a couple times too. We're I'm just joking around, but there was one time we're in the middle of a semester, and people were making decisions, and they were making decisions on this, and there was already it was a module, making predictions essentially, and there'd already been a practice session that we all, I think, had to do. I don't know how you actually got through the semester, without doing that, you know, course wise, it was online. Anyways, you know, you should have practiced, you should have understood all this and done all this. And we get to this point, and we're halfway through the semester, and I've been kind of helping everything go along. And, I become the group leader, and all of a sudden, people want to fight me, and they don't understand even the basics of what we're supposed to be doing. It was like inventory management. Like you're producing so much, and there's so much, only so much is going to sell. So we can produce. It's a simple concept. Let's say you are going to sell 10 products. So these people say we need to produce 10 products because we're going to sell 10 products. But what if we already have 5 in inventory? And it is good to have a certain amount of to adjust with. Maybe you sell more than you expected based on predictions and all that stuff. But they thought that you always produced 10. And yes, it's good to have a little bit of reserve, but you don't have to have so much. So what they were doing is always producing what the demand was, and if there ever was less demand, they would keep always keep that inventory. They would never try to be keeping like a little bit of reserve, work with things. So they're always having way too much inventory, and they're the kind of people who just beat their heads against the wall, and they're like, why do we have too much inventory? And and then they don't want to adjust things according to forecast. We're producing too much, or maybe we should change things with our price. Anyways, it's funny business. It's all funny. Let's see here. Do you know where I can get Dior Homme Intense 2013? Is that the one with the silver collar? Is that the one that's the vintage? Well, my friend, you're going to have to pay a pretty penny. You could get very lucky if you have good connections with somebody who works at a boutique, or maybe somebody who works extensively with a fragrance distribution company. You could get awfully lucky, like if you were friends with somebody who owned, like FragranceNet or something like that. But your best bet is if you're good friends. Also, if you have good connections, that would help as well. But if you travel to a foreign country and felt, or maybe somewhere, and got lucky and found like an old drugstore or a boutique, or maybe you could go to one of an airport. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. The places with airplanes. If you could go to one of those, and a duty free, and you might just get lucky. Maybe they have something back in the shelf, something that's collected dust, maybe something that people have forgotten about. People have been gotten really lucky with vintage bottles of a number of things. Like I've seen some people get really lucky with vintage bottles of La Nuit de l'Homme. They're selling it for retail, and if you wanted to, if you're greedy, I guess you could say, you could flip it on eBay and make like triple of what you paid for it. make a lot, but what did you do before this? Did you do YouTube full time or have another full time job? My friend, my friend. If you think that I'm making anything remotely close to a full time income on this, you're very mistaken. Um, when I was doing top 10 list, when I was doing that kind of thing, and I mean, I'll do top 10 lists, especially seasonally, and I'll do it whenever I'm in the mood. That's one reason I'm kind of against tags. A lot of tags are kind of top 10s and they feed into the algorithm and all that kind of stuff. Anyways, with I am monetized, but even then, I was lucky if I got $100 every 6 months. I was lucky. Now I am lucky if I'm making about $15 a month, if I'm lucky, and that it might take me almost a year to make $100. I'd be a lot better off working minimum wage, guys, with the time I spend on this. My time I invest to this, on average video, I'm very lucky if I get like 50 cents a video. I'm not making a lot of money, guys, if any. I know some people have donated to me in the past a little bit. I'm very grateful. Somebody donated on my Subscribestar, but you have to have $50 to even get a payout on Subscribestar. So somebody was very generous and decided to donate to me $10 on Subscribestar. And I have never been able to get that $10. It's been sitting there for like a year or more. It's just sitting there. I can't get it. I can't do anything with it. It sits there because I can't get a payout. What did you do before this is what you mean. I still do odd jobs. I'm trying to start my own company. I don't want to tell y'all all the details. I need to put more of it together, but I bought everything and I put a lot of money and a lot of time and risked a lot into making a soap company, and also I'm trying to work on a fragrance company, but I'm really torn. I know people like spray fragrances. I do want a high quality niche, fragrances with actual sprays, but I also really do like attars, and I believe in the attar kind of world. So I'm almost tempted to make two separate fragrance companies, like one that's attar based and based purely 100% natural, because alcohol really does essentially mess up and make really pure fragrance absolutes that makes them not last as long, and it like denatures them. So I'm kind of curious, or kind of conflicted on making two separate companies. But I graduated college. Before college, I don't know if y'all are stalkers or what's going on, but I worked at a furniture company at one point, moving furniture. It was really funny. There was a bunch of people around me, and again, yes, different people are essentially privileged differently, and they thought that maybe that I was somebody who was working a counter job or something, and they were like shocked. They were like, "Well, like, what do you do? Do you like sell the furniture?" I'm like, "No, I move the furniture. I move at a furniture company," and the thing is, I don't want to get into all my history, but a lot of the money I made that I should have invested into myself, I was raised very religiously, and I gave almost everything that I earned up till 22 or something to a religion, and that's the way I was raised and told, and that's the way I expected. And I also expected there to be a payout, that they were essentially going to help you get a career and all this stuff, and college as well. I fed into college, and because I was told that's what you're supposed to do, and I was essentially forced in a way too, and that didn't help me either. So I've just been doing odd jobs, for people, just odd local jobs. I don't make a lot of money, and I really don't have much, speaking. That's one reason, I'm telling y'all way too much personal stuff, but that's one reason that I don't have a lady around yet either. Maybe some ladies have a golden heart, but all the ladies, especially if they're younger, they want to travel, they want to have fun, they want this or that, and all of it takes a lot of money, and I don't have that kind of money, and they don't want to mess with you. So why don't you do a Kickstarter for the fragrance company? I've thought about doing that. I've asked about it. And I know I talked about you with that as well, but you know that I want a little bit more, perhaps freedom with that, and when you start that, people expect things by a certain date, perhaps, or you really have, you know, a Kickstarter is almost where you get it's like proof of concept. Like Mr. Smelly and all these people, they already put all the money, at least as far as I can tell, and I do understand what a Kickstarter can do. Sometimes people don't have anything on the ground. They don't have anything ready or prepared, and the Kickstarter is what it takes a year or so for them to be able to actually bring the company and the product to fruition. But I don't know. Almost don't want to do that. I want to have everything ready to go, and then I'm like, here's the Kickstarter, and it's almost like a promotion. Like you get things at a certain sale or a discount price, and do it that way. But if I do a Kickstarter at all, I don't know. Maybe I should do it. I'm sure it would really help me. And some people really in the past really disliked me talking about anything, and I don't want to give y'all a sob story, but I haven't had the best experience in life. That money wise, really haven't. I came back from college. The company I interned at essentially ignored me, and I was a very hard worker, did a very good job, um, and I I'm giving out way too much personal information. I don't want to tell y'all too much, but I essentially would have to call the boss to get my job back, and it's almost like a moral thing. I want to work in a normal company where things aren't so top down, and I had that. I think the boss actually somewhat liked me, and maybe it would have put me into an amazing position in an amazing job, but I didn't want to call the boss, and I tried to email him. I tried to email multiple people in the company. Everything was top down. I didn't like how the company treated me as an intern. The company was supposed to actually have me as an intern and actually, like improving, different aspects of their company and how things are done. But they essentially just used me for heavy labor. They just used me to unload and stack and unload things from an 18 wheeler into a warehouse for the most part. Sure, I got to observe things and learn a little bit, and there was a guy who did a little bit of inventory work, but their inventory was a mess, and I did a little bit of that, but I really didn't do too much of it, and things were so shady. Like they didn't pay for any actual barcode software, and they were supposed to. And I actually found a website that did it for free, but it was kind of like a nonprofit thing, and they specifically said like legally you're not supposed to use this for an actual business. They wanted it to be more of like a free source thing. If but I told them about that I found this, and it was the only thing that worked, and they didn't have any actual barcode system themselves. And I told them that we legally weren't supposed to do this. I think that maybe you could work with them or pay them money or something. They were like, use it. And they're like, and the guy's like, I'll take responsibility if we ever get sued or something. I'm like, are you really? They're like, yeah. And I'm like, well, I guess I can. I guess I have to kick myself out the door and quit the job, or I have to do this illegal barcode thing. So I essentially did that. Or I guess I could sue. I don't know. The world is crazy. The world is crazy, and I've never been on the good end of the stick for the most part. So. Let's say invest in crypto. Yeah, I've looked at that. I don't have a lot to do that, but I've heard that's a really smart thing to do. I'm very skeptical about it. This is a fragrance channel, but as far as I know, with crypto, I feel kind of powerless, and I know how it works. I've watched a lot of videos. I've listened to about it, but it feels kind of powerless, and I almost wonder if somebody like Google could just take all that crypto money or take all of that crypto power as soon as they wanted. And I also worry about, or almost think of it as an information package. Like, are all these people really just giving all this computing power to, information technology? It's hard to really know what's really going on behind it all. These women today are, some of them are. It's, because we've moved this is a fragrance channel, but we've moved away from a lot of traditional things. Um, it's almost like society is changing a lot. I don't know if you'd say it's destruction, but that we're going much back to a society where ladies like perhaps older men who are able to provide for them, and that's always been the case. Nothing's wrong with that if they want, especially if they want a family. You do want a guy who at least has some money, can provide and do something for them. But in the past, a woman was willing to work with a guy, and if they were about the same age, or maybe even if she was younger, work with a guy even if he didn't have a lot of money, and do things based on love. And I was raised to have that attitude, raised on the attitude of love and morals and those kinds of things, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's just going to cause you heartache, and you're just going to lose, because that's not how the game is played these days. And a lot of young men are raised, and music tells them, and everything tells them to, you know, love is going to work for you, and if you just love and do this and give and sacrifice, it'll work. And it doesn't work. Maybe it's worked for you. Maybe it's worked for some people in the past. Maybe you're lucky. But for most people, it just doesn't work these days. So it just doesn't work. You find a gal, she wants to travel, she wants money, she wants fun, she wants this or that. In her young 20s, she's not going to get married. Marriage is a joke. And if she does get married, she's going to use it as an opportunity, possibly, at least a lot of them. I'm not going to throw out too many pills, but y'all probably know what I'm talking about, divorce-wise, and use it as an opportunity. So, I don't know. And a lot of people will treat you like a predator these days. I'm in my later 20s. I'm still in my 20s. And especially in a lot of other cultures and countries, and especially in the past, if you were even 40 years old and you wanted to date an 18-year-old, and if she liked it, if she wanted to, nothing's wrong with that. Even at my age, people act like I'm a predator if I want to date an 18-year-old or a 20-year-old or a 22-year-old. They think I should date somebody who's, I don't know, 25 or even my age or even older. And, nothing's wrong with that. But the girls who are my age, they don't want anything to do with me. That's the way it's been my whole life. The ladies my age don't want anything to do with me. They either want younger guys, who are, really, really attractive to have fun with, or they just want to, date an older guy and maybe be, have some money involved. So that's how it is. And that's how it is. So you have to take risks. I invested in Bitcoin and made profit. Then I lost 40% overnight. And March during the lockdown, now it's gone back up again. That's true, but y'all see me buy fragrances, and I do spend a lot, but I spend almost everything I have on fragrances because that's what I'm passionate about, and I need to stop. That's why I slowed down at least a little bit, because I started putting money into maybe investing a little bit into a company, but I really don't have. How much does one Bitcoin cost? Like 1,000 or 4,000? I don't even know. I don't have that much money. So how old are you? I don't want to say exactly, but I am still in my 20s. And I am a very stressed person. I don't know what's going to happen wise, but I recently gave myself a haircut, as y'all could tell. And I don't know if it was because I was sun bleached, but I could tell on the edges of some of my hair, I was already kind of like blondish or possibly even white. But I'm still in my 20s, and I'm going to possibly even have white hair in my 20s. So I'm always been, people say I look young, but maybe I'm old in my soul. I don't know. My attitudes, I like farming, I like cooking. I almost wish that I lived back in the day. I kind of idolize Japanese culture, which some people think is ridiculous. I would have been very happy back in the day, feudal Japan. I would have been. I don't care. I'll go to war. I'll be a shogun. But I would have been happy as a blacksmith. I would have been happy as a lumberjack. And these days, you can't make enough money swinging around an axe. Sure, there's the forestry service, but a chainsaw is a whole different story from actually swinging an axe and building things with wood that way. So, Let's say, how old are you, Biden? I don't want to talk about politics. I have different opinions on a lot of different things. I'll offend I'll offend everybody with almost every opinion. Again, I'm an INFJ, so I don't really form into really just about any group or fit style of ideas. So almost, you could give me 10 different questions and I could have answers that would confuse almost everybody because nothing really has a rhyme or a lot of reasons. I have kind of an old honor system type of attitude, especially in the past. And people laugh at the idea of honor these days. And honor is different than morals. Honor is, it's kind of hard to explain. Like, morals can be a lot of different types of attitudes and about like purity and things, but their morals can be very different from honor. Honor is like holding yourself to a standard of like I don't know, dignity, but it's almost like strength. Like, you almost never like try to look weak, and anything. It's almost like that type of old archetypal attitude, and I kind of have that to some degree. Um, and to a lot of people, that's absolutely ridiculous. So, you watch like an old movie, especially China. China was a very honor focused for a long time, and people think that's like mystical, or people don't think that way, but I do for a lot of, and that's again some of that Celtic attitude coming through in me. I have a lot of that Celtic attitude, so no, it's anyways. But I know what you're saying though. Economy wise, if we do want to, I think I can talk about the economy without being political. I think that matters. I think people can't want the economy to do well, and I think that that's both sides of the aisle. Again, I do care what some about older, some of the things that maybe some of the older guys would have said, like George Washington. We aren't supposed to have a we're not supposed to have a two-party system. We're supposed to be, Americans are the people of our country, and we're supposed to care about everybody. And I think that the economy is one of those things that people can wrap their heads around and say that everybody wants the economy, at least in one way or another. They want to see it doing well, and I think that's definitely, I think, a driving point that a lot of people are starting to see. And if, in regards to your comment, Dean, if we're talking about the economy, I think I can even say things outside of politics. I can agree economy wise. I think I can say that, can't I? I think I can. You can buy a portion of a Bitcoin. So you can buy a little piece of it. What's up, man? Hey, Stefan. I didn't even know that you could buy a small portion of it. I actually have a brother, and he decided not to do all this religious stuff. I'm the oldest of the family, and he decided, not to follow in it. He's a little bit younger, and he actually invested in Bitcoin. Funny enough, and he's actually a lot better off. He made his own custom PC and all these different things. And I was the guy. I've earned hard blood, sweat, and tears, hard earned money. I've earned a lot more money than he has, and but again, I gave it all to college, and I gave it all to religion. And what do I have to get? What do I have to thank for it? I have nothing. I have absolutely nothing. I have a diploma. I have a bachelor's, but I might as well burn the thing because it's trash to me. Um, have you played in a new samurai game? Yeah, there's that. What is it called? Shadows of, how do you say it? Joshima, something of that. There is a new samurai game that's doing really, really well. But that's not. I was just talking about my attitude towards life. A lot of people mock or think that having an honor system is very, very strange, to people. Having an honor system, at least to Western ideas, it's very, very strange or a very foreign concept to people. As that, when I've mentioned that, it's been very offensive to people. A lot of people will do or cheat or do steal or do whatever for their own advantage at every opportunity. But I've always been very different than that. So, have you played the new Scent of the Days Dunhill Desire Red? Some people seem to really like that Dunhill Desire. I have tried it. It wasn't for me, but I respect, you know, but another great thing about that fragrance is I've seen it very, very affordable and very, very cheap. I've seen it close to about I want to say $10, $10 or $12. I've seen that Dunhill Desire Red. So yeah, it's definitely it's not bad. Randy says, "Hey Ben, yeah, hey everybody popping in. Hey Anthony Rodriguez, y'all are popping in. We have been on here for almost an hour. I almost thought about almost going, but I'm happy to see y'all pop in. We've been talking about a little bit of everything. We had Dogman in here talking about Monsaras. We had some people, Professor X, pop in. We got on off topic there, off fragrance for a little while, but it is getting dark, so you're going to have to deal with that. But that's one reason I said we're probably going to have to wrap it up soon, because in the next 10 minutes or so, it's going to still start getting dark again, and then you're going to be talking to the black screen. But have y'all had a good weekend? Have y'all been getting into any new fragrances? I don't know if y'all are up to date on my Instagram. I'm almost more active on my Instagram than I am on YouTube, honestly. Uh, Instagram doesn't have an algorithm as much, at least it doesn't seem that way as YouTube does. Again, YouTube is pushing what people are searching for. So if a Sauvage comes out, or a new popular fragrance, maybe Aventus comes out with a new, maybe Creed comes out with a new Aventus flanker, like a noir version or maybe a sport version. Who knows what they're going to do? And somebody does the first review of that fragrance, they're going to get tons and tons of views. But even if lots of people search for fragrance, they're going to suggest videos like that. YouTube is going to suggest Jeremy fragrance. And on Instagram, I'm not growing terribly fast, but I'm doing pretty darn well, and I've been putting a lot of work into it. And I love the atmosphere over there, and there seems to be a little bit less drama. I haven't experienced too much drama right now in YouTube. At least I haven't, but it sometimes is there. But Instagram, I felt overall is a more of an environment, at least that I appreciate. And there's a lot of people who it's easy to share your own post and almost be your own little mini fragrance reviewer in the Instagram fragrance community. So that's what I've been up to. As I've been doing a lot of that, I've been pretty happy, and I'm creeping up on 4,000, and we'll be doing a giveaway. And I think that this time I actually am going to focus more on Instagram, believe it or not. And I'm going to do a video and talk about it here on YouTube, but you're going to have to go and enter the giveaway, I think, on Instagram. I think I'm going to do it that way, guys. I really am. Let's see here. I'm a big Mancera fan. Yes, Mancera. Mancera has really good stuff. I have the Oud Vanille, which I really like, and I have the Amber Fever. Really like both of those. I need to get the Back to Black, or Black to Black, or whatever that is. Sounds like a really good fragrance. I'd be all into it. So yeah, I need to get on some more Mansaras. They have some pretty darn good fragrances. It's especially when you can get a 4-ounce bottle for close to $80, and a lot of them do have some interest to them, but they have good projection and longevity, and you're getting a pretty darn good fragrances. It's kind of like a step into the niche world, and they are fairly mass appealing. So for the most part, if I was to suggest any one brand stepping into niche, I think that Mansara is great. And if ladies wise, I don't feel like Givenchy is terribly niche, but there's a bunch of great underrated and amazing values you can get on Givenchy fragrances, how are you supposed to say it, and they're out there, and you can get something more interesting at a great value with performance. So maybe you guys are looking for a gift. No, see, your package is stuck in transit. That's fine. I am a patient guy. I was curious. I didn't know if you'd shipped it yet or not. I wasn't going to fuss at you, but I do appreciate that. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be a lot of fun, and definitely will showcase that, especially on my Instagram, Dean. I think that's you're there. So it looks like you need a flashlight, Lowell. Yes, it's getting dark. I am outside. I do not have a fancy studio. And I could be in my room, but I really don't like my room. I don't like how it looks. I really don't like how close it is, and it's hard to set things up as much as I'd want to. So it's not a very big. I don't have a very big room or apartment or whatever you want to say. It's not very big. I mean, it's a good size, but I have a desk and everything in there, so looks kind of dark. Yes, it's about to get dark out here. That's one reason I think that I should probably wrap up this live. So, Cali reviews, but happy to see you. I know that you've been doing your own thing. I know that you've been working pretty hard. I definitely want to encourage you too, man. You know, anybody who's watching my channel, it's hard to really grow as a fragrance reviewer, especially when you're doing your own thing, especially when you really don't feel like you want to do top tens. And maybe you're a little bit of an individualist. You don't want to jump into everybody doing tag videos. Um, you know, it's really hard, but I have seen quite a few. I want to say almost like 10 of these upcoming reviewers who are already at 500 or even 1,000 subs, who they just do lots of haul videos and they tag each other all the time. And who knows? Maybe that's the big road to success for upcoming people. I don't know, but that's not what I want to do all the time. You know, haul videos and tag videos. But anyways, okay. I think the comments are starting to dry up, and it is getting dark. So everybody, I want to wish you a happy weekend. I will be getting on tomorrow, 6 p.m. Saturday tonight. I will come at a decent time. I'll be more reliable for you guys, and we'll have more fun then. Of course, I'll be putting out more videos. I did put out a video earlier today. I know it's of an indie fragrance. Perhaps that's a little bit better for the ladies, but I hope that maybe you'll be interested in watching that. Last time I looked at it, I only had 15 views on that video. So if y'all like my content, if y'all want to help me out, I really would appreciate it if y'all, you know, when I put out a video, maybe hit that notification bell, get a notification, check out my videos, see if you see, hopefully you like what you see. You know, thank y'all for being my friends and chatting about fragrances. That's what this is all about. Great night, buddy. Yeah, have a great one, Anthony. Happy to see you again. I'll see you tomorrow night, Saturday. I think if I remember the days right, 6 p.m. Central. I will rewatch from the beginning. Yes, we had a pretty good discussion, Cali Reviews. I hope that you enjoy it. And I'll definitely try to catch up on your content. There's a lot of content creators, and I definitely try to stay up to date. But shout out to y'all. If y'all don't know, Cali Reviews does have a fragrance channel, and he has his own thing going on. And he's not playing the top 10 games. He's not playing any games. He hasn't bought subs like me. I mean, you can tell that some of these guys, like, and some of these people out there haven't bought subs. I'm getting 50 views on videos. If I get 100 views in one day on a video, I'm lucky. And I put my darnest out there. I do hard. We haven't bought subs. Maybe YouTube doesn't like us. Maybe we're too authentic, too real. And again, you know, y'all bring up some possibly controversial topics, and I'll comment a little bit on them. YouTube probably doesn't like that. And, you know, me talking about YouTube at all, they probably, you know, puts my video down. Anyways, I'll see y'all next time, everybody. My channel, I mean. I hope that y'all have a fantastic one. Be safe, be well. Cook some amazing food. Enjoy life. Smell great. Y'all know how it is. Buying sub makes one's fake. Exactly. I completely agree. It makes you fake. But, you know, some of these people, I don't know if they bought subs or not, but there's some of these people who are already at 10,000 subs. And I have just as a good personality as them. I don't edit my videos as much as they do. And I think it's funny that some of them get shout outs, but my content, especially with my top 10s and my personality and my knowledge, is just as good as them, if not better. And I don't, I certainly don't get that kind of notoriety. Anyways, no, I do this channel for the passion of it anyways. So I'll see you, everybody. Have a beautiful weekend again, and peace out, everybody. Whoop. And I'll see ya. Peace out. Disappearing Act.